Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sama sambuddhassa. So last week, Last week lesson we have to study the topic comprehend and practice. We know there are three kind of person who come to the temple to listen to Dhamma talk. The one with inverted wisdom, the one with lap-like wisdom, and the one with wide wisdom. So the last one, the with wide wisdom, they try to remember whatever they heard, then they try to practice it. So there are three kind of knowledge, three kind of wisdom that necessary for our practice. First is wisdom from listening, second one from reasoning, and the last one from by cultivating. So the last one will help us overcome the suffering, destroy the suffering, destroy the cycle of rebirth, the most important one. So not only listen, but need to apply into daily life, into practice. That's the main purpose of the teaching of the Buddha. So that is the last week lesson. So today's lesson is based on one question of our devotee that because they heard Dhamma talk everywhere, and they know there are several kind of meditation, and they don't know which one is belonging to the real teaching of the Buddha. So one and the other one, they heard about the word vipassana that popular nowadays, and they wonder that is that word appear in the text, in the original text or not, or it's just a new word create in the modern day. So that's why I have today topic 2 remedies. So to answer the question, the word vipassana, surely it appears in the original text. In the Anguttara Nikaya, the numerical discourse, the collection of numerical discourse, the Buddha talked about two things belonging to knowledge, to true knowledge. So belonging to true knowledge is referred to, there are several kind of knowledge in the world, but this is called the true knowledge, vichya. It processes to true knowledge. So actually there are 8 kind of true knowledge, and among the 8 it divided into 2. One is called samatha and the other called vipassana. I will not go further into 8 kind of true knowledge, but when you change the quality of the Buddha, there are 9 qualities of the Buddha, and one of them is called vichacharana sampanno. The person who perfect, who complete in knowledge and behavior. So the knowledge, the word knowledge over there refer to the vichya here, the samatha and vipassana. It means that the Buddha, he is perfect, he is complete in both kind of true knowledge. So first with samatha can be translated as serenity, or it is the unification of the mind. So how to understand it? Samatha is the way to practice to settle down the opposite phenomena. The opposite phenomena refer to the defilement, such as the sensual desire or anger. Samatha is can be translated as one-pointed mind, undistracted mind, unscattered mind, serenity, or concentration, right concentration. So that is the samatha. And vipassana is a part of two things, the prefix vi and passana. So vi here mean deeper, strong, or clearly, and passana here mean seeing or observing, looking. So the whole word is to see clearly, to understand deeply, to observe thoroughly. So that is the vipassana. Can we understand like inward vision? Okay. So vipassana is to observe the phenomena in various aspects, and concerning the three characteristics like impermanence, unsatisfaction, and non-self. So vipassana is referred to insight, to wisdom, to understanding, to investigation of the phenomena, and wisdom, right view. Okay, so the person who practice the samatha, the the serenity is developed. So what the benefit he will experience? That is the benefit is the mind is developed. So what is the mind is developed? The mind here refers to the mind that he can obtain the path attainment, or he make himself become a noble person. That is the path, the mind of the path. So that mind is developed, cultivating, prosper. So when the mind is developed, what the benefit he can experience? The lust is abandoned. So what is the lust here? What is the greed here? So lust, compassion, delight. There's so many words to translate these things. But you can refer to the craving for the beautiful vision, beautiful form, the craving for something suitable for your ear, the hearing, the craving for something tastes good, for smell good, or craving for good for touching. So that's some kind of craving. So samatha is the one who the one who practice samatha, cultivating samatha. He will have the mind developed and abandon the lust, the craving in this way. Because lust, craving, and samatha is something opposite. So the one who developed the mind of attainment, the moment the mind of attainment arise, there will be no lust. And at the time of lust or craving arise, there will be no mind of the path attainment. So they are opposite each other. So when the lust is strong and craving strong, it will destroy the mind of the path attainment, and there's no ground for path attainment to establish. So the one who practices samatha, cultivating samatha, he will develop his mind, the mind of the path attainment. It is stronger and abandon the lust at that moment. So that is the samatha. And vipassana here, when it cultivating, when it developed, the insight, the knowledge of insight is cultivated, is prosper. So that person will experience the wisdom his wisdom is developed. So when the wisdom is developed, what the benefits he will experience? The ignorance is abandoned. So what is ignorant here? Ignorant is from the word avijja, refer to the lack of knowledge about the truth of the truth of suffering, the truth of the origin of suffering, the truth of the cessation of suffering, the truth about the way leading to the cessation of suffering, about the past, the future, etc. So it is the ignorance or the delusion of the mind, the unwholesome root. So vipassana, when you practice, it will develop the wisdom, and when wisdom is developed, ignorance is abandoned, because wisdom and ignorance is the opposite of each other. At the moment of wisdom, there will be ignorance. There will not be ignorance. At the moment of ignorance, there will not be wisdom. And when ignorance strong, it will destroy the foundation, the basics of wisdom. But when wisdom is stronger, it will rub and abolish the ignorance, and it help you to see things, see the phenomenon, the true things clearly. So if we practice, the mind is defiled by craving, by lust, so that mind is not called liberated. And if the wisdom is defiled by ignorance, it is not called liberated. But if one practice samatha carefully, he with the fading away of lust, so there is the liberation of the mind, and through the fading away of ignorance, there will be the liberation of wisdom. So to talk it short, I would take a quote in Petakopadesa. The Buddha talk about there are two kind of illness, two kind of disease, mental disease for the human beings. That is ignorance and craving, especially craving for the existence. So, and for there is two kinds of disease like that, there are two remedies called samatha and vipassana to destroy these two diseases. So the person who engage in the samatha, with the fading away of lust, he will get the liberation of the mind. And with the fading away of ignorance through vipassana, he will get the liberation of wisdom. So the person who practice samatha, he will be free from the disease of lust. And the one who practice vipassana, lately he will be free from the disease of ignorance. But for these two kind of practice, one is just a painkiller, and one will kill the foundation, the root cause. Why I say so? According to the Dhammapada, there's a quote that just as a tree, though cut down, sprout up again when its root remain uncut and firm. In the same way, this suffering spring up again and again when underlying craving is not rooted out. So just as the tree, even it cut down, but the root still strong, still firm, it will grow up again if it have enough condition. In the same way, the root, the cause for this suffering is the underlying craving. So underlying craving, there's several kind of craving, but the underlying craving, the most dangerous here is the craving for existence, is the most dangerous one, because it's satisfied with being reborn again and again. So what is behind? What is support of this underlying craving? That is ignorance. How you understand it? Because the person who doesn't see the danger when for being in the cycle of rebirth, he didn't see the danger in the cycle of rebirth. That's why he wants to be reborn again and again. So that is the not seeing the danger is referred to ignorance. Because of ignorance, so we do good and bad things. We do wholesome deed and unwholesome deed, especially the unwholesome deed. And because of that deed, so lead us to be born again, because there are karma and there will be kind of consequence. So when we receive the consequence, because we have ignorance, so we attack to things, we dislike things, we like things, and when we like and dislike, we want to get what we want. And when we try to get what we want, we commit another karma, and there will be another consequence to come. And that is the cycle of rebirth, and again and again. So the craving karma is support by the ignorant behind, and it will start the whole cycle of rebirth. For the person who did not see the danger of the cycle of rebirth, he will not be free from craving and also ignorance. So ignorance and craving refer to the curse of suffering. The person who practices samatha and vipassana, the two way of practice, serenity and insight, that is the way to free from suffering. I talk about the truth for the cessation of suffering, and the person who have liberated of the mind, liberation of the mind, liberation of by wisdom, by the fading away of lust and fading away of ignorance, is the goal of Buddhism. That is another way called Nibbana. So the main purpose of Buddhism is to getting away of craving and getting away of the ignorance. To talk in another way, with the fading away of craving, you can overcome the sensual realm, but with overcome of the ignorance, you will overcome, or you will go past the whole cycle of rebirth. So I would like to share one story written in the Jataka to make you easier to understand this point. So there are one young man. After his parents passed away, he saw that his parents worked hard for the whole life, but they have to leave everything behind, the treasure they have. They have to leave behind and pass away. So he looked at that and he looked at his life. Then he was afraid to be follow that way again. So he tried to become an ascetic and practice meditation in Himalaya. So when he tried to practice like that, he attained jhana absorption and supernormal powers. So that the way he practiced is referred to samatha, serenity, the fading away of lust, the liberation of the mind. Then one day he went down from Himalaya, from mountain, and took a rest in a garden in the city. So the king saw him. So with good practice like that, so the king invited him to offer food. And he told the king that he also need a place to stay during the rain, because in a year in Asia, in India, there will be some months we call monsoon and rain a lot. They have to have a place to do the rain retreat. So that the king invited him to stay over in his royal garden, and then later he stayed for 12 years. So one time the king busy with to take care of the war. So he let the queen took care of the offering part. But the queen, she also good heart, and she take care of she offering to take care of the ascetic really well. One day he was late to come to receive the offering. That's why after preparing everything finished, the queen while waiting, she took a nap. And then when the ascetic come, she heard the sounds of the ascetic, because the ascetic he wear kind of a robe made from leaves, their way of practice like that, and it make a sound, and he used his supernormal power to fly over to the palace. That's why she tried to get up immediately and to offer. But when she tried to get up immediately like that, her clothes is not proper. It fell down, and the ascetic cannot do anything. Just stand staring at her. Be affected by her appearance. And at that moment, all of his practice fell up. He lose his supernormal power. The meditation he attained fell up. After receive the food, he cannot fly back because he lost everything, and he have to walk back to his place. Then later the king come back, and he didn't see the ascetic. So he come to visit the ascetic and ask, "What happened to you? Who hurt you?" The ascetic replied to him sadly that no one hurt me, but I will shoot by the arrow. But that arrow is the arrow of lust, the arrow of craving. There's no wound that the blood come out, but it will hurt. It still hurts me. It hurt the whole my body. The king also tried to comfort him, and the ascetic, while he talked to the king, he realized the curse of this suffering, the curse of his problem. So he tried to practice again, and he attained again that meditation, the jhana absorption, and the supernormal power. After that, he left the king and go back to his mountains, Himalaya, for the rest of his life. So from this story, what I want to share with you is that samatha, serenity, that way of practice can temporarily, just like a painkiller, temporarily oppress the lust and the craving, but it not destroy completely, just like the tree, though it cut down, but it will sprout up again because the root still there. And the root is the underlying craving supported by ignorance. Only vipassana will help to destroy ignorance. It will cut down the main cause of suffering, and then get you free from the cycle of rebirth. That's why the Buddha appeared to teach us the vipassana practice, because samatha practice there exists in the time of before the time of the Buddha too. So that's what I want to share today. There are two kinds of practice, samatha and vipassana, belonging to the true knowledge. And among the two, it will help you to oppress the lust, craving, and the ignorance, to deal with the ignorance. But among these two, lust, samatha is not enough to destroy the ignorance, but vipassana will help you to overcome the ignorance, then uproot the tree, so there are no more suffering for your life. So that is what I want to share today. Thank you for your listening.
Okay, we have some time to discuss with today's lesson. We learned today the two types of meditation taught by the Buddha, samatha and vipassana. And just remember the purpose for these two types of practice. The samatha is to suppress the lust, the craving, whereas the vipassana is to cut the ignorant, to remove the ignorant altogether. And so that's the two practice. So when someone who practice samatha, tranquility or serenity meditation, they will develop this strong mind, strong concentration. And because of this strong concentration, the craving doesn't have the chance to rises in your mind, doesn't have the condition to rise in your mind to lead to a lot of lust and craving. But then again, it's just only a process of oppress it, temporary. The moment that you lose your mind concentration, all of this will gain momentum and recover to the state that is used to be before. So in a way, samatha is not the true remedy to be free from the cycle of rebirth, because it's just like the tree been cut, but the root's still there. You need to uproot it altogether, which is the practice of vipassana. But a lot of people found that, samatha can support vipassana, and which is true, because you have to have concentration, samadhi, in order for the insight to flourish or to grow. So and samatha will help you to develop this mind concentration. But then again, there's a downside of samatha practice. So let's say that someone who used the method of samatha to support vipassana practice, when they start having the mind concentration, I'll call samadhi, the craving, the anger, like suppressed, is so serene, so tranquil that they felt they noted, they found true happiness that they thought is like nibbana, because nibbana is absent of no more craving, no more anger. So a lot of people believe that they already attain nibbana, so they stop there from practice further. So that's the downside of it. Or they enjoy the tranquility, the quiet, the serenity that different from the suffering or the agitation from craving or anger. So a lot of them found, happiness. So they stop right there, not going further. So that's the downside, and they get stuck there. And then when they lose the mind concentration, everything will resume momentum. So that's a downside of samatha. But if they are guided properly, when they have this mind concentration, they will, change it to vipassana practice and contemplating on the three characteristics, which is the impermanent dissatisfaction and non-self. They will get enlightenment. So that is the proper guidance. That's why we have to be careful when you practice samatha, to support vipassana. But if you choose to practice samatha alone, be aware that it doesn't cure the disease. It doesn't cure the problem. It's just some temporary suppress. Just like he mentioned about painkiller. The pain's still there. It's just been suppressed by the medicine, the numb your neuron so that you don't recognize the pain, but the pain's still there. Just like your ignorance still there, your craving is still there. It's just temporarily been suppressed, oppressed. But if you know how to apply it properly, you bring best result. And also understand that samatha already exists before the Buddha time, and there has always been samatha practice, and the people who practice at the time, they also feel very serene and tranquil, very peaceful. But then again, when the Buddha practiced, he found that this is not the true way to get out of cycle of rebirth. So at the moment, at the night of his enlightenment, he changed his object of meditation, and he contemplated on it, and eventually he attained enlightenment. So be aware that samatha is not it happened before the Buddha time, but because of the mind concentration, the samadhi, people use it to support vipassana. When also the Buddha, before he got enlightenment, he also entered jhana, jhana absorption and all that. But then the next step is when he's contemplating, he emerged from jhana and he contemplated on the three characteristics. That's how he got enlightened. And now these days, there's a lot of meditation center. They go through this path. They practice samatha first, then they will, when they attain jhana or strong mind concentration, they will start to practice vipassana in that way. So there's a lot of confusing. A lot of people keep wondering why this center guide you to practice looks more like samatha, while others don't. It's just that they use to support vipassana, but then again, you have to have a good guidance to do that. Otherwise, you get stuck or you don't get the result at all. So be careful, which center that you attend. But then again, a lot of people get enlightenment just strictly practice vipassana. They don't go through the samatha. Practitioner who take this path, they call dry vipassana. Dry vipassana means they practice vipassana purely. They also develop samadhi, called mind concentration, but called momentary concentration. And they still have the calmness, the tranquility as well. And then they get enlightenment without attaining jhana at all. So there's just a thing called dry vipassana. Only dry vipassana, okay? There's no wet vipassana. Get that clear, because if you hear dry vipassana, they mean like, oh, what about wet vipassana? There's no such thing. Just mean dry vipassana mean pure vipassana. They don't go through attaining jhana. Okay? All right. So there's two paths you can take. One, you use samatha to support vipassana to get enlightenment, or you just concentrate strictly vipassana. And the mind concentration in vipassana is called momentary concentration. Okay? So get that one straight. So make sure that you pick your method and you go from there. And whichever that you pick the method or whichever the path you choose, make sure you stick with it. Don't just flip back and forth. It won't bring any progress at all. You have any questions?
I want to add a little things. Why I try to explain for you about the lust and craving. I talk about their kind of lust craving for something suitable for your ear, your eyes, your tongue, your touch, something like that. So nowadays there are several kind of meditation that they will let you to listen to good music. So it somehow is against the samatha way, not talk about vipassana.
Yes, nowadays we have so many type of meditation. They call meditation such as some of the sound, the music. Let's say the sound of the rain, very soothing, very relaxing. So they used it to relax their mind, and which is okay. But if you call it meditation, then you have to check what type of meditation is it. Definitely, it's not samatha meditation or vipassana meditation, because in samatha, when you practice, you will suppress the craving. If you have the craving suppressed, then that's how you attain. You get the mind concentration to enter the jhana. But if you still have this craving with all the beautiful sound and attached to it, then craving rise, then there's no way you can get the mind concentration. So that is the opposite of it. So if they're saying, yeah, it's a practice of samatha, then that is not correct. And so that's why you have to be careful with it. And a lot of time, people have guide meditation. Guide meditation is to talk people while they meditate. So that's another thing that it doesn't apply in samatha or vipassana, because you need to be focused on your object of meditation, and you keep focused on your object of meditation. Let's say you practice samatha, you tune out everything around you, sound to the ear, object, image to the eye, sense to the nose, taste to the tongue, or the touching to the body. So you practically tune out everything, all the object to your senses, and focus only to that object in order to develop this mind concentration. But if you are listening to the sound, it helps you to soothe the mind or however, then it's not samatha practice, let alone vipassana. Vipassana, you also pay attention, aware of the object of meditation at the moment, whichever most prominent you concentrate. That's how you can sustain your mind, from going here and there. That's how you develop mind concentration. Either way, you need to develop this mind concentration in order to progress. If you've been distracted, whether by sound, by image, by scent, by taste, by touching, then you are not developing mind concentration at all. Any other method, soothing, the agitated mind, then by all means, but that's not this two type of meditation. You gotta get that one clear. And a lot of people, when they practice meditation, and we go into the technique or the idea of suppressing or get rid of the craving, it discourages people. They didn't understand if a person who lead a life without loving or caring or attaching to something, they felt that we are so emotional less. They have no emotion, so their life would be so boring, so in vain. You have no feeling. That's not the case here. The case here that we have two types of feeling. One, because of the unwholesome sensories and all that rise the feeling, like sensory desire, and the other feeling is the absence of the sensory desire. When it's absent, all the wholesome other feeling rises, like of the wholesome. Let's say that the opposite of anger is love, and this kind of love is not the kind of love that you attach to. The love that absent from anger, that love will be for everyone, no discrimination. So there you go. There's still feeling, but it's more in the good, wholesome way, rather than the love that you want is for yourself only. So you continue to have emotion and feeling, but in the good way, not like completely absent, no feeling, no emotion at all. So need to get that one straight. So just so that we, you have to be strong. You have to have faith in it and practice. Once you practice and you see how wholesome your mind is wholesome from the practice of meditation, give you more confidence in it, rather than guessing like, if a person who practice to get rid of the craving, the desire, then there's not left to live in this life. That's not the way. Yeah. And also when you practice vipassana to remove the ignorant, to have insight, then of course everyone like to get rid of the ignorant and have insight, and there's no doubt about it. But then again, practice vipassana can be a very rough, bumpy ride, a bumpy road, because when you practice vipassana, you need to face your defilement and defeat it once and for all. While defeating it, it can be a rough fight, because when defilement rises, bubble up in your mind, it's not a good feeling at all. So you need, when it happens, you need to have the correct, have the right attitude, the right mindset, the right way to look at it, to conquer it, to defeat it. But in the meantime, it's a rough fight. But when you defeat it, then it's going to be very serene, very insightful. So it's not easy at all. But if you do it correctly, there's a whole lot benefit after that. That's why I always say in America, we often say no pain, no gain. For those who practice Vipassana or enter retreat, they notice that. They notice that for one day of practice Vipassana, they face a lot of defilements that bubble in their mind. It can be very boring, can be very upsetting when bad memory rises. It can be very, you can attach to the feeling when good memory rises. And all of that, you need to look at it and keep your mind calm with the right attitude, with the right mindset, with the right view to overcome it. But once you overcome it, it's so beautiful, so endearing, so peaceful. You still have peaceful, true happiness practicing Vipassana. It's because of the insight. It's because of the mind concentration you developed. It's not that just samatha will give you the tranquility, the serenity, the true happiness. Vipassana also gives you that state of mind as well. But you need to endure the fight, the battle, in order to get this state of mind. A lot of people who came here to practice or came to meditation center to practice Vipassana, a lot of them gave up in either the first part of the retreat or the middle. But if they overcome the first part of it, the middle, if they can sustain, then they will get a lot of benefit. Because it's a rough fight. It's a rough fight. And who are you fighting with? You're fighting with your own mind. So that's why I always say to practice Vipassana, you have to be very consistent, very persistent in order to get the result. Like we mentioned, earlier, when we hold retreat here, some people gave up, the first part of it. They went home without any benefit at all. But for those who sustain the whole time, they promise to be here the whole time, they'll get a lot of benefit. They discover their state of mind is different than the day before. So there's a whole lot of benefit. But you need to be persistent in order to get the result. Otherwise, it's going to be a boring and painful practice if you want to put it that way. Yeah. You have something to add? Okay. So when you go home, and Vipassana is the good thing about Vipassana that you don't have to sit and close your eyes, like still and close your eye. Vipassana requires you to do in 4 postures. You do sitting, you do standing, lying, and walking. So if you are skillful, you can actually practice at any time, at anywhere. And a lot of people are saying you can even practice in your sleep, because when you have, before you go to bed or before you fall asleep, you have mindfulness, and when you fall asleep, you fall to sleep with mindfulness, and in your sleep, the mindfulness sustained in your sleep. So a lot of people told us that when they had dream, they in the dream reminded themselves to be mindful as well. Let's say they have a nightmare and something scared them. They also remind themselves that to be mindful and calm the mind. So there you go. Vipassana can be practiced at any time and anywhere. Whereas samatha require you to sit still and focus on your object. And a lot of people don't have the luxury to sit and do meditation all the time. So Vipassana turned out to be more efficient and more practical. So go home, and when you leave here, whatever you do, just be mindful and watch the act, the movement of your body, the thing that you do, at the same time, aware of the state of mind. And how do you do that? When you aware your state of mind, when your mind is agitated or been been shaken, then first thing you need to remind yourself is to stay calm and positive. And then the next thing is just keep aware of it and don't act on it. Let's say your mind get angry, your mind is in an angry state, it will tell you to say something negative to someone or here and there. You just stay calm and don't act on it. Just aware of it. Just aware there's a negative state of mind happening in your mind. Then just go on with your thing. And you watch it again and again and see what do you learn from there. What do you learn that you keep watching the state of mind with the right attitude, with the right mindset. What happened? That's how your insight will gain. You will gain the insight that way. And once you get the insight, next time you applied it, you can apply it better when the incident is stronger, like more harsh, like that. You can, and the more you do it, the better the more skillful you get it, the insight will grow. And once you have insight, then suffering cannot follow. Defilement cannot has the chance to rise in your mind. So go ahead.
Practice these techniques often, but what makes this, what makes them truly become a real Buddhist is you have to, other than understanding the Buddha, the life of the Buddha, understanding things, is there like official.
What do you mean that? Do you have to be a Buddhist to practice this technique?
No, I may, when I try to incorporate these lessons into my life, I try to meditate.
It's okay, take your time.
It's something I've heard to really become a meditator. You must take almost the refuge but at that point, if one truly takes that oath, that promise, and practices with at that point, are they considered now you are now a Buddhist?
All right. I think I get the point.
You don't have to be a Buddhist to practice the technique and get the result. What's the difference between a committed Buddhist and a non-Buddhist, practice but non-Buddhist? There is no difference, but there is the difference in this sense. If you are a committed Buddhist, then you will be more consistent and persistent to it, and that will give a concrete result. Whereas you don't call yourself a Buddhist, you don't take the vow to keep the precept or the teaching of the Buddha. You can on and off and jump around here and there, go whoever says something, you will follow. Some people saying meditation, whether it's not samatha or vipassana, you will jump on the bandwagon and start doing this. And if you jump around here and there, you won't get any result at all. But if you are a committed Buddhist, then you say, I will only stick with the practice of samatha or vipassana, which is the right guidance, and I will, just focus only that. Then you are more consistent and persistent, then the result is waiting for you. And why do you need to take the oath or the vow to keep the 5 precepts? Because that's the foundation of your morality. without the morality, the foundation of morality, you cannot get mind concentration. And when you don't have mind concentration, insight cannot develop. So you are a committed Buddhist. You will keep your 5 precepts intact at any cost. And when you practice meditation, your mind very calm, very confident, then you attain mind concentration, samadhi. And then panya. Panya is insight or knowledge or wisdom will develop. But if you are not committed Buddhist, you don't care. You can lie, you can kill, living being. You do whatever because you say, "Oh, I'm not a Buddhist because in my belief, I'm allowed to do this. I'm allowed to kill the chicken for food." Then you are not keeping your thing. And then when you sit and meditate, it flashes back to the act, the unwholesome act that you did it. You cannot get mind concentration, and then you won't get any insight. So that's the difference. That's the benefit of committed Buddhists. But a lot of people, they when I ask them, they don't call themselves Buddhists at all. When I ask, "Oh, are you Buddhist?" I say, "No, I'm not Buddhist." But the way they practice, they don't kill. They have confidence in the Buddha teaching. Then they still get the same benefit. Whereas some people take the triple gem, take the vow to keep the 5 precepts, and when they proud to call themselves Buddhists, but they don't act accordingly. They lie, they kill, they steal, they take alcohol. All the 5 precepts is completely broken. And then they learn, and then they jump around. Whoever says something beautiful, they will jump on the bandwagon and practice. Then they call themselves Buddhists, but they don't get any benefit from it. There you go. So that's why a lot of people choose to take the triple gem refuge and the 5 precepts. Just that they declare from now on, I make the commitment to change my life, and I will do accordingly, and then they will get the result. So we call those Buddhists by practice, not Buddhists by name. Some people, a lot of Asian people, they have the wrong thinking. They go and take the triple gem and the 5 precepts to be called Buddhist, but their life they don't live their life according to the Buddha teaching. So they are Buddhist by name, but don't get any benefit at all. They get no protection at all. They still born in the woeful realm, even though they call themselves Buddhist. So a Buddhist by name doesn't save you at all, whereas Buddhist by practice will. Okay. So that's why it's not the ceremony that's important. It's the practice that's important. Okay. Right. Yeah. So we want to be a Buddhist by practice. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So if you have any questions, we can do the shared marriage and loving kindness.